Yup, you know what time it is, man. This is, of course, your new favorite channel, man, CTB. It's your Chance Up Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. See what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely. You know what you're tuning into, man. If not, then it's that segment we call here, Chin Check. This is where we rock you guys' chin with boxing news, boxing information, boxing rumors. Sometimes we give you the odds of the fight and put a little bit of money in your pocket. But right now, we want to talk about the upcoming fight tomorrow night. It's on a Friday, y'all. It's confusing as hell, I know, but it's on a Friday. ESPN at it again, but we know why they're doing it on Friday because, of course, you got college football and NFL on Sunday. So, of course, they had to put it on a Friday. But to me, it's a good thing. I mean, all weekend I can watch sports. I can watch boxing and I can watch football, college football, and I can go to the NFL on Sunday. But unfortunately, it didn't really take the fight too much, in my opinion, but it still kind of messed up the hopes and dreams of Shakur Stevenson being future undisputed at 130 because the man missed weight by a pound and 6 ounces, if I'm not mistaken. So he missed weight, man. Of course, the WBC, they came out quickly and said we snatching our belt back, which is how they work. That's how they operate. Shakur Stevenson came out later and said that he can't make the weight no more. He's going to 135. So us here at CTB, of course, got to ask the question. Actually, it's two questions. Did this possibly mess up the Lomachenko fight because publicity probably took a hit? Fans are fickle, so they might say Shakur Stevenson not professional, whatever. So did this mess up his chances to fight Lomachenko next? And if not Lomachenko next at 135, then who can ESPN offer him at 135? I'm gonna let you break it down first, man. What was your first thought when you seen him miss weight, bro? First off.
I know a lot of people when people miss weight, they want to say they're unprofessional. I'm not gonna call him unprofessional because we saw him fight his last fight against his last fight was
Valdez.
Yeah, Valdez. And we were saying how big he looked. His back was humongous. So we were saying, man, how the hell is he making 130? He's a huge 130 pounder. He's not gonna have a problem at 135. So and then when he weighed in, he looked in great shape. He didn't look like he won't up the par like he normally is. So I think that he's a grown man now. He's growing into his grown man body. I think he's unable, like he said, to make 130 no more. I think he tried his best. He can't make it, and it is what it is. It's kind of bittersweet. But the sweet part about it is he gets to go up to 135, which is probably the hottest division in boxing right now.
Most definitely, there's a lot of fights out there. I kind of say something behind the scenes. I also want to get your take on, man, because he is on ESPN, and that's going to hurt his chances in the big fights. So I made a statement earlier off camera that I want to get your opinion on also. Do you think he's going to be the next Terrence Crawford when it comes to moving up to a weight where all the heavy hitters are at, but your promoter can't secure you those fights because of a promotional cold wars or whatever? You think Bob Brown going to learn his lesson from the Terrence Crawford saga? Or you think it's just going to be another Terrence Crawford situation?
Trying to teach your old dog new tricks, so I don't think he's going to learn his lesson. I think that he would use the same plot that he's been using for Manny Pacquiao and that he used for Terrence Crawford. He will give you the idea of one of those huge fights. I think Lomachenko fight can be made, though. I really do, but I think Lomachenko is more about accolades, and being that he lost his 2 belts at 130, the most accomplished guy that he can get his belts on is Devin Haney. So I think now his focus went from Devin Haney or Shakur to fully Devin Haney now. The Devin Haney is the undisputed champion at 135. So I think Lomachenko attention is over there at the moment. So I think that Top Rank will use the same method they've been using. They will hype up maybe a Devin Haney fight. They would throw out a Tank Davis fight. They would make you think those fights can happen. Every time he fight, those names would come up. But of course, in boxing with Sup, we won't get those fights. The one fight I think he can make, but that fight probably won't happen for another 2 years plus probably, is Keyshawn Davis. And that's Keyshawn. I don't know how long Keyshawn Davis can make 135. Maybe a year and a half from now, he might start to go out at 135. But if he want to stay in 135 for the next year and a half, 2 years, I think that in the future, that could be a huge fight because they both on Top Rank. But other than Keyshawn Davis and maybe a Lomachenko, because I think if Lomachenko loses to Devin Haney, that can be a big fight, because I think that at that point, Bob Aaron to say, well, he lost to Devin Haney, he's at the back end of his career, I might well feed him to Shakur Stevenson. If he beats Devin Haney and becomes the undisputed champion, then you can have an in-house fight for Shakur Stevenson, your up-and-coming star, against your older star. So either way you look at it, Top Rank wins again. So I think that's going to be the main game plan for Top Rank at this point.
I was sitting here thinking, I think Top Rank, like you said, you can't teach your old dog new tricks. And I think Top Rank is going to milk the possibility of him fighting Lomachenko and have him fighting bums. I'm going to say this. I won't be surprised that now that Shakur Stevenson lost his belts and he's going to 135, don't be surprised, you hit it here first at CTB, don't be surprised that Lomachenko go back down to 130 and fight Constant Sal for those vacant belts. Do not be surprised that Lomachenko go down there at 130, because you got to be honest, man. Lomachenko is a small 135 pounder. In my opinion, I believe so. I think he's small for the weight. So that's why I asked you in the beginning of the video, do you think that Shakur Stevenson messed his chances up for a Lomachenko fight? Because I thought it was a stronger possibility of him going down to fight Stevenson than it would have been for Stevenson to go out to fight Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Because if you, Stevenson, why would you go out and fight Lomachenko at 135? Lomachenko don't have no titles. He don't have no belts. So you fight him just to fight him. And if you, Lomachenko, why are you fighting Shakur Stevenson coming up in weight when you in a Devin Haney sweepstakes at 135? So like you said, you'd rather fight Devin Haney for Undisputed before you fight a young lion who has no belts at 135. So I always thought the better chance for him to fight Lomachenko was for Lomachenko to go down for the Undisputed titles at 130. So don't be surprised Lomachenko go down and wait for those vacant titles, man.
Yeah, you made a good point. If Bob Arum is still in love with Lomachenko, like we know he all is, he can put him in protective custody. And what I mean by that, like you said, he will bring him down to 130. He can beat up on everybody at 130, win belts. And, you know, like I said, Shakur Stevens can't make 135. Tank Davis probably can't make 135. Keyshawn Davis can't make 135. Devin Haney damn sure can't make 135.
You mean 130?
I mean 130, my fault, 130. All these guys I'm naming can't make 130. So Lomachenko down there, he can scrap those belts, get accolades, move up the pound for pound list, be the unified 130, maybe the undisputed champion in a year and a half, 2 years. So, and then you have Shakur Stevenson at 135. You can always, like you said, throw that fight out there for the future and say, hey, we can make this Shakur Stevenson Lomachenko fight at 135 in the future. But right now, Lomachenko is cleaning up 130, and Shakur is trying to make his mark at 135. So it keeps them both interesting for the next 2 years, even though they won't fight each other.
I'm gonna throw some more salt in the wound when it comes to this. Another reason why I think this is gonna happen. Thinking about the big fights for Lomachenko at 130, you got an Oscar Valdez fight down there. And Constant Sal, I get that pronounced name right. Constant Sal looks decent against Shakur Stevenson. He can fight Constant Sal for you know what I'm saying, for a big payday. But then look at Shakur Stevenson. He doesn't have too many big paydays at top rank, especially at 135. So if you top rank, like you said, if Bob Arum still riding that Lomachenko train, of course he's not going to want to mess up those two fights alone at 130 for Lomachenko. You don't want to mess those two bags up. Fighting Stevenson right now, he ready to go ahead, especially the Oscar Valdez fight. Lomachenko, there'd be a great payday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, on ESPN. So I don't see Lomachenko, especially at his age, like passing up money like that. He's not going to pass up his money, unless it's a Devin Haney fight. That's the only person I see at 135 that's worth passing up. Oscar Valdez title fight at 130 instead. You know, and for sure, Shakur Stevenson, man, I hate to say it, man, but I want to see him at 135 because I know he can hold his own. I know he can hold it. He can upset a lot of people at 130. 135. So I know his body is ready for that move up in weight. But like I said, I just have a feeling that he's gonna be Terrence Crawford. I think he's gonna wind up being a guy who's gonna fight a lot of people that a lot of critics gonna say, oh, Shakur Stevenson ain't fighting nobody at 135 because this guy was old and this guy was hurt and this guy lost and blah, blah, blah. But that's all Top Rank can offer him because, of course, Top Rank don't have the pick of the litter when it comes to 135. So I just see that coming, man, in my opinion.
Now, before we get out of here, I will ask this, you know, being that it is a fight tomorrow, and we're not going to make a prediction because we pretty much know who the winner is. But I will ask you, though, is it going to be by stoppage or is it going to be a decision?
I'm gonna go by decision, man. Shakur Stevenson, he's a decent puncher in my opinion, but I think Constant Sal has enough size on him to withstand some punishment. I think it's gonna be a masterclass, kind of similar to how he did Valdez. It's gonna be kind of similar. I think he's gonna probably get hit less than 5% of the fight. Constant Sal gonna be punching air all night, but Shakur Stevenson's gonna be smiling and playing and joking around in the ring the whole time. Or maybe just missing weight, maybe they put a fire in his ass. Maybe he's of course he might be a little more ruthless this fight because he pissed off at himself and he pissed off at the fact that they lost his titles on the scale. It's a sad thing, man. I hate to say it, but a lot of fighters who cut that much weight for that period of long time, it happened to Tank Davis. Tank Davis lost his belt on the scale. Like a lot of fighters in those weight classes, especially at 130, seems it's hard to keep making weight for a long period of time, and maintaining your health, man. Health is more important. That's why I asked you when you first texted me the news. That first thing I asked you was, I wonder if you're gonna try to make the weight because it's a pound and 6 ounces. That's hard.
It's too much.
It's too much. It's too much to make in 2 hours. They give you like 2 extra hours or something like that to make the weight. Yeah. That's too much. He'll kill himself. So I'm like, man, if you don't make the weight, then you're gonna lose the belts. So, but I'm glad to see him move up, man. But I think it's gonna be a unanimous decision, man. To answer your question, it's gonna be a unanimous decision. I think, if I had to put a rounders on it, probably 10-2, some shit like that. Probably 11 to 1.
Man, I will say, we normally do the odd video, and I will throw a little bit in there for y'all. If what I just said, we pretty much know Stevenson gonna win. I mean, anything can happen in boxing. For me, this is what I would do if I'm making a bet. You gotta bet it's your own, responsibility. You have -170 for a decision for Stevenson, which means that if you put $170 on him, you win $100. If you feel like you said he got a little fire in him and that maybe he a little bit heavier because he didn't have to cut to 130, it's almost 2 to 1 if he stops. So if you out there and you think that Stevenson can get that stoppage within 10 or 12 rounds, I think it's a 10-round fight. If he can get that stoppage before the fight is over, maybe it's 12 rounds. 12 rounds. 12 rounds.
Got to be good, because what have been a championship fight? Yeah, 12 rounds.
The championship fight. So if you think he can get that stoppage, that won't be a bad bet because you get 2 times your money. So it's just something to think about. It's something for me to think about. So I haven't decided yet, but just throwing it out there.
Yeah, for 2 to 1, I'll put a good little $15 on that, try to win $30 on it, something like that.
I'm throw a little something.
Gas money. Yeah, a little bit of gas money, something like that. But I don't see it. I mean, it's possible. What's the chance of Cassel landing that punch? And real quick before we get out of here, what's the chance? Cassel got some decent pop on him now. He got a puncher's chance, like all fighters got. What's the odds of him landing that puncher's chance and getting Shakur Stevenson out of there?
What's the odds? What's the odds of me dunking a regulation basketball goal?
What's your height?
I'm 5'7". So what's my odds of dunking a regulation basketball goal? That's his odds right there.
Nate Robinson can dunk. You about your height.
How many Nate Robinson walk around here? So yeah, that's his chances. So I don't give him much of a chance though, man. Stevenson defense on point, man.
Yeah, most definitely it is, man. Probably the best defensive fighter in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Not bullshit. You got anything else you want to add to this topic?
No, I think we covered it all.
But with that being said, man, this is of course your favorite channel, man, CTB. It's your Chair Talk Boxing. I'm of course your boy Jay Slay. Say peace on, man.
All right, everybody, please hit that subscribe button, man. Let's get us up to 1,000. Hit the like, comment, notification button so you know when we dropping a video. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace and love, and we out of here. Take care.